Cost of living these days is fucked.
Half my wage goes towards groceries now.
Just work hard. I mean, it's not hard in Australia to do that.
Woolies, Coles, the greedy bastards.
Yeah, I've just had a heart attack because I don't eat meat. I can't afford it.
You used to be able to get 2 kilos. Now it's been dropped to 1.8.
Thank you very much.
Got some cash? I do. What I do, don't owe me.
Right, you guys, we have just arrived in the affluent area of Double Bay in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. This area is actually one of the most expensive suburbs in all of Australia, and we're going to be asking locals if the cost of living crisis has affected them over here and see what their responses are. All right, what's your name, my friend?
My name is Jason.
And where are you from, Jason?
I live in Balmain.
You have a very nice car behind you.
Thank you.
Can I have it?
You can, it's all yours.
Thank you. One question. So obviously the cost of living crisis has affected a lot of Australians in this day and age. How has the cost of living crisis affected you, or has it not?
It affects everybody. I mean, if it affects everybody else, it affects my business. And if it affects my business, then, I've got to go down with it. So.
And what do you do for work?
I own cafes.
And what do you think the solution is for many people out there watching?
Mate, I honestly, if I had the solution, I wouldn't be here.
Biggest problem I've got is interest rates.
Yeah. Right. So do you have a mortgage by any chance?
Yeah, I have business loans. Interest rates are going 3.6% to 8%.
That's pretty hefty. And how have you managed with all that?
Still managing.
Yeah, I think it definitely has been increasing, particularly in the food and hospitality sector, in the staffing sector. Our staff are asking for pay rises quite frequently now, just to afford their rent, food, etc.
And what do you guys do for work?
I'm a surgeon.
And I own a car dealership.
And do you guys personally have any mortgages?
Yes.
Have your interest rates gone up significantly?
Well, they've gone double, everybody knows. It's all over the world, inflation is high, but I think that the current government is not doing the right things. The tax system in Australia is too high.
Excuse me, Mrs. Parking Ranger, how much has the parking fines in Double Bay gone up due to inflation?
It was 120, now it's 129.
How many have you got today? We're doing a documentary about the cost of living crisis in Australia, so wanted to see if you're contributing at all.
Where are you from?
We're from 69 News.
69 News. I've never heard of it.
We're a bit new.
Are you sure it's not the number 69 that you're fooling around with?
Are you from Russia?
Yeah.
What's the cost of living like in Russia? And what is the cost of living like in Russia? You can speak Russian.
Moscow is expensive. In Moscow, yes.
Okay. More than here?
No. In Australia, expensive.
I feel like it's increased the last couple of months, especially when it comes to grocery shopping.
How much do you usually spend on groceries now versus before?
Half my wage goes towards groceries now.
What's your background?
Lebanese.
Christian?
Yep.
I'm Christian as well. How have you guys been managing with the increase in interest rates?
We're just working harder.
What advice would you have for people out there struggling at the moment?
If you want to work hard in Australia, you can get ahead. It's not the first time we've seen interest rate rises. Just work hard. I mean, it's not hard in Australia to do that. You've got opportunity, you can get a job, and don't be choosy. Don't say, well, I'm not working weekends, I'm not working nights. There's no reason why someone can't have a second job in Australia or a third job. I mean, I worked 15-hour days, 7 days a week when I was studying to be a surgeon, and for the first 10 years of my career, and I still work 7 days a week. Working hard is important to get ahead.
After hearing from the locals in the affluent eastern suburbs of Sydney, I decided to travel to one of Sydney's lowest socio-economic areas. How has the cost of living crisis affected your life?
Had to turn to crime, or...
Do you know anyone that's had to resort to crime to just get by in this day and age?
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of people, especially when it comes to eating and surviving, yeah.
And what sorts of crime have those people had to do to just, get some food on the table, for example?
By having to steal themselves something for dinner, or...
Have you yourself had to go to any extreme measures for, the same thing?
I personally have had to, go to them measures to survive, unfortunately.
The cost of living these days is fucked.
And how has the increased cost of living affected your life?
Very significant. I've got 2 kids, a missus, it's pretty full on.
What's the one thing that's gone up that's really impacted you?
Just groceries and just,
What were you paying before versus now?
It's not much, but like $60 or something extra, it's a lot,
You got how many kids, 2?
Yeah, 2.
And has your rent gone up as well?
I think only like $30-40.
How has that impacted you and your family?
Yeah, significantly, yeah.
And last question, how can I have the confidence to walk around Mount Druitt shirtless like you?
I don't know. Sick cat.
It's pretty bad at the moment. I've got like 10 kids.
You have 10 kids yourself?
Yeah. So it's pretty bad at the moment.
Has your rent gone up recently, or?
Yeah, it's up to like 500 now.
What was it before?
450. Before that it was 400. So I just work more just to pay for it.
And how many more hours are you working these days?
It's 60 hours, so it's an extra 20 hours a week. It's tired all the time, man. Kids don't get to see me much anymore. Really? So I'm always working, yeah.
It's like he can't hang out with us so much because he's always working.
We decided to head to the main area of Mount Druitt, but on the way, this happened.
Hey boys,
Oh, wait.
What's up, huh?
You want to be in the video?
Huh?
Video?
No, but it's got some cash.
Sorry, I don't. Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. We're doing an interview.
Okay.
No
I
worries.
don't do interviews with Jews, okay? You're a Jew?
No.
You're a Jew?
No, no Jew.
You're Christian? And you-
Christian.
Yeah. Claim to be Christian. I'm
Thank
not
you,
your Lord.
thank you,
Don't
thank
find me
you.
around.
Thank
Don't
you.
find me bother me. Listen, I do what I do, and you fucking don't own me, okay?
Done.
You fucking own me. Fuck. Don't you own this? Fuck. You fuck.
After interviewing the locals of Mount Druitt, we ran into two ladies who had been deeply affected by this cost of living crisis, and they were kind enough to share their heartbreaking stories. What's your name?
Anne. Diane.
And are you guys from the Mount Druitt area?
Yes.
I'm sure you guys have been feeling the cost of living constraints that a lot of Aussies are as well. How has that impacted you?
Well, I don't eat meat much. Woolies, Coles, the greedy bastards have not put their prices down since COVID, and now they've gone and put another price rise up of 25% on everything. It's just not fair. I don't know how they get away with it.
But I've had to have iron infusions because I don't eat meat.
You're not eating meat because
I can't afford it.
And do you suffer from any health problems as well?
Yeah, I've just had a heart attack. Yeah.
And when was that?
Last weekend.
Last weekend?
Yeah.
Do you know what that was caused by at all?
Stress.
And do you think the cost of living and inflation, what's happening in the economy, has contributed to that stress?
Yeah.
And what would you guys say is the hardest thing about, rising prices, inflation and interest rates?
Trying to pay the bills and your food and your bills, yeah. Yeah, you can't really go out much.
I don't go out and I don't have takeaway. If I have takeaway, I may get 2 scallops. That's it.
And do you guys have any plans on how to sort of improve your situation in the future, or you're kind of stuck?
There's no one to help us, darling.
I decided to go into a local supermarket to understand firsthand how prices had risen and the impact it had on people like Anne and Diane.
See, look at the mince. You used to be able to get 2 kilos. Now it's been dropped to 1.8, but still the same price.
And how much would that cost?
I think this one's about $18. You used to be able to get 2 kilos for $10, darling.
Okay.
But now 1.8 for the same price as 2 kilos.
Yeah. Get some more.
We don't want to be greedy.
Do you know how much this would have cost you before versus now?
Well, this is now $11.
A kilo?
So, yes, and that would have been, I was looking $7, $8 pre-COVID, if that.
Pre-COVID, cool.
And cheaper if it was on special.
Okay, so we're in the milk section. So let's say like a 2-litre bottle of milk. This one goes for about $3.10. Do you remember how much this would have cost before COVID?
You were only looking about $2.
It's gone up about $1, $1.50, depending on what brand, obviously.
Yeah, I use Zimmel milk, and I used to pay about $2.50 for just a 1 litre. Now it's $4 and $5.
Statistically speaking, bread has gone up by about 10%, and so has eggs.
Eggs have gone up, more than 10%.
You think more than 10%?
Eggs would have gone up 40%. Yeah, it's very expensive, and especially if they mark them free range. You're looking at maybe $8 for a dozen eggs. This is the perfect example, 2 for $7.
Yep.
What happens if you only can eat one? I mean, not a lot of us have freezers. We can't afford it.
For sure. And some people watching this video might not, see a few extra dollars as being a big deal, but of course to you guys, it is, right?
We've got to count our pennies so we can pay our water bills, our gas bills and our electricity bills.
After spending some time in the local supermarket, Diane ended up sharing some devastating news about her health. So yeah, inside the grocery store, you mentioned something that I'd love if you could share to the camera. What happened?
In 2016, I first got breast cancer the first time around. I was taking a drug called tamoxifen. 3.5 years later, I ended up having a blood clot that went from my lungs to my heart, and I died for 1 hour and 15 minutes. I was in hospital for 3.5 months. It was a long road. That's why I'm in a wheelchair, because I've got blood clots still in my lung. I can't walk too far. In the house, I've got a walking frame, but to go out, I can't walk too far because I'm breathless. At the beginning of last year, I got diagnosed with breast cancer again, a HER2 cancer this time, and that's why I had a double mastectomy. After the chemo, I had a sore under my arm. I went to the oncologist and he said, it's getting better. The day after, I ended up dying again.
Died?
I died again, and of a heart attack, and they turned around and said I had staph right through my whole body. I was in hospital for 9 weeks at Blacktown Hospital, and then they turned around at the 9-week mark and said, you have to start paying, because I wasn't walking still, and they said you have to start paying to stay in hospital, and I walked out.
What would you say, the access to adequate financial resources would have done to help your situation?
Oh, if I had the resources, it would have been a lot better, yeah. But no, I didn't have it, and like the medical side of it, but yeah, I've done it all just myself.
What message would you have for people out there, and what message would you have for the government?
For the government, please make it more affordable or accessible for people on disability, pensions, age pensions, to access medical services. I need to go see a psychiatrist, but I can't afford. I wish everyone good luck with the government and trying to get through this that we're getting through now.
You guys are so wonderful. Thank you very much. Honestly, thank you very much.
This has never happened to us. We just can't believe it. Thank you.
No worries, least we can do. All good, all good, all good.
Yep.
All good.
Thank you very much.
No worries. It's the least we can do, and obviously, we hope you guys get the help that you deserve, and yeah, we wish you all the best. No worries. Let me pay for the taxi as well.